Hello, Dull Bedsit Blogger here, and I'm on another power walk, and it's a little bit more windy than it was the other day today, so I'm sure this time it is going to be too windy for you to hear what I'm saying, but we'll see. I thought that last time and it was perfectly clear. Oh, lovely. So I'm walking inland because it's pretty windy down on the seafront. I'm just heading my way to St Anne's Wells, which is quite a nice walk, and I didn't do my swim this week. Yeah, sorry. I didn't have time yesterday, and I didn't get around to it today. I was planning to do the double, where I go for a walk to the thing. Swimming pool, that's what the thing is, and then go for a swim and then walk back, but I didn't get around to that because I'm supposed to be packing for going away, because I'm going to be going to France straight after the Fiery Foods Festival, and that's going to be nice. We're going to go to the south of France. I shall be videoing, of course. I can't breathe without videoing, can I? You don't get to the stupid number of videos I've got without making videos, do you? But anyway, let's get on with the meaty part of this. That was just the intro. Hello, I'm Moira Stewart. I wanted to talk again about experimental music. I had to listen back to what I'd said, alright, whatever, I said words, but I didn't really talk about creating experimental music. There is part of me with Nil By Nose and the large Veiny members that kind of feels calling it experimental music is a little bit lazy, because it's not really that hugely experimental. People listen to it and go, that's music. So does that make it kind of less experimental because people can go, yes, there's a 4/4 rhythm or whatever, there's some kind of rhythm going on there, and stuff. Basically I think I do the fact that we do it improvised, that could make it experimental, because we really don't know what we're going to do every time we sit down together, or I sit alone and do some Nil By Nose stuff. Really don't know what's going to happen. Might have a couple of sounds, or maybe have a bit of the rhythm in my head, but there's no real planning behind it, so that might be what makes it experimental. It's literally an experiment and seeing what will happen, what will come out, what the residue will be. The formula is fingers and machines, the residue is music. One of the things I quite like about experimental music is it can get a little bit chin strokey and art wankery. Yes, this is quite deep and meaningful. This is about the terror that's held within from the child when you have a nightmare, and you repress it, but it still lurks there. Even when you're an adult, it lurks there, the creature in the wardrobe. Or, this is how I felt the first time I saw a skyscraper when I was 5 years old, and this music emotes the wonder and the horror that I felt at people being stacked on top of one another. Yeah, see, that is just bollocks, isn't it? But you got to remember, it's really good fun. when I'm performing with the Bald Knobbers. So I mentioned the Bald Knobbers and it goes really windy. Weird. So when I'm performing with the Bald Knobbers, it's I really love the actual process of doing that. You know, I've got a feeling I may personally be getting more out of that than the audience might. I don't know, but I really like doing it, and I get the feeling from everyone else that we all like doing it, just making a bleeding racket. And there isn't a kind of artist's manifesto behind it as well, which, well, there might be. Each individual person might have their own particular Bald Knobber manifesto behind the behind making the music, but it's not an end all and be all of the whole Bald Knobbers. It's just about doing it. And ultimately, with any creative endeavour, I think that's the important thing, the fact of doing it. When I'm performing with the Bald Knobbers, we all have our black masks on, and you can hardly see, and you can't see very well, and those masks are made from like quite thick, heavy felt, which is so hot to play, and you can hardly see, and you can't really hear properly. And you know, when I'm playing with my didgeridoo, it's like, you know, I can only just get the mouth round it so I can blow it, and it's, you know, it's the actual effort that goes into actually playing with the Bald Knobbers is part of it, and that, for me, that's part of the whole experimentalism of it, the experience of playing with the Bald Knobbers. It's and you're trying to listen out to what people are playing, to maybe try and play along with them, but you can't hear everything, you don't know who's doing what, and you know, you just make it and see what happens, which is really exciting. And it's very windy, this bit. Let me just walk into the shade of some built up area. Right. Apparently this park was one of the original, it's kind of the birthplace of Hollywood. One of the very first film studios was based around in this park, which is quite interesting. They got a sign up about it. It's not just me yabbering on, it's a true fact thing. Let's have a look. There's a sign about it. There we go. Ah, there. St Anne's Wells, site of the film studio, 1897 to 1903, created by George Albert Smith, and that's one of the earliest film studios. Anyway, right, where was I? About the experience, you know, the experience of creating stuff with the Bald Knobbers is so, you know, it's kind of quite exciting, and it's really fun, and it's very cathartic as well. Oh, there's a gust. So, you know, I think, and it's really interesting with a lot of the kind of more experimental types of music, or cutting edge types of music. I'm trying to think of a different way to word it, where most of the audience at a show will be the people who are also making the music. That's whether it's with, you know, proper hardcore punk, you know, underground metal, underground dance music. But if you look at things like, you know, the more pop side, it's all about being consumed rather than people making it. So I think that could be part of experimental music as well, in that, you know, the amount of times we go to an experimental music and half the audience are the people in bands and stuff like that. It's not just because it's not very popular, it's because, you know, even at very well attended gigs, there are, you know, most of the people in the audience will be people who make music or create art. Which what am I alluding to? Yeah, it's one of those things. You know, it's not perhaps even designed for someone to consume. It's perhaps more designed for people to appreciate, who have an idea about how it all goes together and stuff like that. Does that make sense? I think the wind has really scuppered this one today, and I'm at 11 minutes again, so yes, probably a good idea for me to stop, and then I can concentrate on my power walk. Bye bye.